So tell me about your greatness. Who are you? How do you know who you are? Who told you? Each of us walks through life with a portfolio of sorts. It's of all the messages we've received throughout our life, both positive and negative. And whatever message we hear the most about us, whatever is celebrated most about us, becomes who we believe we are. What messages did you receive as a child? Lazy, off task, that dumb word, disrespectful, hyper. Then I always leave a blank because there's one that comes to mind. Each of us as adults have power. Power in our words and our actions to reflect, to recognize, to celebrate what's right in children. And can I go so far as to say what's right in each other? What's right about the person sitting next to you? I came along this journey 4 years ago as a school psychologist. And in the 21st century learning, we know that we're rethinking everything. We're rethinking the brain. We're rethinking relationships. We know that relationships, they're in our DNA. It's like we're hardwired to connect to one another. We want to talk to each other, especially over lunch. Exactly. And what we know is forerunners like Martin Seligman, he says, if we're going to study what's wrong with people, those diagnoses, that mental health, could we not also study what's right about people, that positive psychology movement? What helps people flourish? At the same time that positive psychology, mindfulness, social emotional learning, we know those names, were coming into being, there was a therapist named Howard Glasser, and he was working with some of the most challenging children in the nation. The ones we incorrectly labeled too far gone, lost causes. And what I admire about him is he was working in the trenches with real families, real children. As a school psychologist, I understand that. As an adoptive mom, I understand that. And what he came around with is some of the things that he was told to do were actually making things worse. And I've fallen on that. And he started to pay attention to this energy of relationships. See, we have a dance that goes between us. And sometimes the things we celebrate aren't really the things we want to celebrate. And what he did was create the Nurtured Heart approach, which I've come to fall in love with, because it's helped me be the best version of me. So what is the Nurtured Heart approach? Well, it's a way of intentionally interacting with each other, of turning, instead of the portfolio that we looked at, the portfolio of non-success, into that portfolio of success. How does it do it? Well, it takes 3 stands. And the 3 stands are very simple because I need things that are very simple in my interactions. I need them to be very, right there for me when I need them. First is absolute no. We have to stop as a society getting into what's wrong with people. Talking about what's wrong, munching on the dot of what's wrong. And we have to look at the white space, which is absolute yes. We have to go after what's right in each other and celebrate that with our words. And lastly, we have to have clear expectations, and we have to have clear rules. In education and in life as a mom, punishment doesn't work. We have to stop being married to punishment as a way of somehow awakening the best version of us, because it doesn't work. We wouldn't have prisons if it worked. If there was just, and honestly as a mom, if there was just the right punishment, wouldn't you love that book? Oh, I need this punishment. Oh, now we're transformed and I'll never have to deal with this issue again. It's just not true. And all the approach is told in stories that are memorable, that in that moment of relationship I can be even more intentional. So let me talk about positivity for a moment. Because I don't believe that positivity alone transforms us. As a society, we've been married, or we've been handing out junk food to each other and to our kids. We say things like, good job, way to go, oh, love it, fantastic, you're awesome. Do you have any idea what I'm so excited about? I'm up here going, Well, you could make some guesses, right? But the reality is you have no idea what I'm so excited about. And just like junk food, it has no nourishment. It is empty. Versus if I said, I love the speech that you gave. I was so moved that you took your time in your life to really empathize with your sister. It tells me the compassion and the level of relationship you have with her. Much different download. Much more emotionally nourishing. And let's talk about negativity for a minute, because the reality is that this negativity, we want to keep going on and on about what's wrong. So let me give you just a quick. In my home, I have my son who's 16, and when he comes and he follows curfew, what do I say? Nice to see you, I may do this. Good, junk food. But the minute he doesn't follow curfew, what happens? Have you been there? Are you a parent? I am alive. The toy has arrived. I have batteries. You have got, what were you thinking? Right? Because I can't believe you broke the rule. And the truth is that I've come alive and I've celebrated non-greatness. I have been on an upside down roller coaster. I've been showing up at the wrong time. So where do we go with this? How do we help our relationships be richer and better? First of all, we don't get into the negative. Second of all, we come alive when things are going right. We find the words, the emotionally nourishing words, to come alive. And out of that, we transform our relationships with each other. Dare I say that we give our children these messages in their portfolio: creativity, joyful, patient, courageous, imaginative. And out of that, we ignite in them, and in ourselves, this level of greatness. We ignite it. Thank you.